see how it goes. All right. Yo, 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 what is up? We are back. It's supposedly Fawk it 49ers talk, but it's just me. I don't know what's going on. Lawrence, he guess he can't make it tonight. I wasn't told why. What up, Bryant? Wolf, I'm guessing, is still doing the family thing. I heard he was coming back, but he didn't say he was coming back here just yet. What up, Bebop? But no worries. We're here together. We can have a nice conversation. Let's talk about this 49ers team. Um, oh, Nathan, what up, man? Saw you first time the other day when I believe Mariah was on. Really appreciate you stepping on in. Uh, we've got the team grades. What did you all think about the team grades? Were you kind of happy? Happy that the 49ers scored so high? Um, do you the training staff or the training room, sorry, the training room getting that C plus or C because they don't have enough tubs. Uh, that seems like that could be an issue. You know what I mean? Cooling down after a game, getting some ice. Also being able to warm things up here and there. You know what I mean? When things start to get tight, uh, it all depends on what's going on and where you are, and as far as injury goes, whether you're doing hot or cold. But like after a game, you shouldn't be going in the hot tub for at least a day, I would say. And them not having enough means some people are like, nah, I'm gonna skip that. I'll just go do something at home or do that, and they probably don't get to do what they should be at home. You know what I mean? Because stuff happens, and it's easier to take care of stuff while you're in the building. Um, and that's something they should have. Look, everybody's probably got an ankle that's sore after a game. Everybody, if you get a couple of troughs like they use for giving cattle water, all you got to do is fill it up with water and ice. You don't even got to get the fancy ones that swish the water around, make it even colder. You just need something that holds water and ice. It's not that expensive. Um, yeah, we've got a Bebo talking about at least a reason why. Yeah, there could be a reason. I was just talking, or not talking, I was just watching Raja's show from our San Francisco 49ers. And he was saying, I could see how some of these injuries, Kyle says after the game, oh, we don't have much injuries, right? But then Tuesday or Wednesday, all of a sudden there's all these injuries. Well, what could that be from? Not icing down, not getting the inflammation down as much as you can before you go home and start to do the rest of your night, and then the next day and your rest day. You're not getting a head start. And I'm guessing people on their rest day aren't sitting in ice baths unless they're going into the training room. You know what I mean? Unless they're going to the facilities. What up, David McNiner? Oh, at least we're not as bad as the Cardinals, right? Holy moly. What were they ranked? 31st, I think it was? Wow. What a crap facility. The Rams, too. The Rams were horrible. Seahawks, what they were 11, so pretty much dead middle in the league. And they were doing pretty good. We were 7th. We should be top 5 with how our program holds and carries itself. You know what I mean? As like a perennial powerhouse, as part of the majestic franchises. You know what I mean? From like Green Bay, you think Green Bay would have good facilities. You would think, some of these stoic teams, like the Cowboys. You think the Cowboys should be A+ on everything, right? Certain teams, certain franchises, they should. Yes, yes, David Lee, the FDR Fireside Chat. Now, now, FDR Fireside Chat number 2 is where he unveiled his thoughts about the minimum wage. I believe it was 1939. 1939? Was it 38? I can't remember. Tell me in the comments later, immediately, please. uh, let's see. What do we got? Yeah, the cards are down bad. Oh, we got Eric in the building. What up, Eric? They will be having these audits every year. They will be. And I'm surprised they hadn't done this before. The NFLPA. Oh, and who was it? Was it the Cardinals? What team was it? Some team, they pretty much called out the athletic trainer. Like, this guy's bad and he doesn't like treat everybody the same. And that's what needs to go down, come out of this. We need to have not only talks like the 49ers, like, hey, why don't we have enough ice tubs? You know what I mean? It's not like it costs that much. Just somebody's got to give up their office, or a couple of people got to give up their offices so we can just get some more tubs in the building. Let's just make it happen, okay? It's not that big of a deal. But when you're talking about trainers not treating people all the same, or I've even had when a trainer didn't believe me, and it's like, whoa, bro, like, how am I faking something that's hurting? You know what I mean? Like, I can't fake this. What up, Jess? Wow. Oh, these emojis? Like, it just wrote out Heiko's turquoise, white horns, goat. What is going on here? The emojis. They're just not. Why is it not transferring? That's crazy. Everybody tuned in for the fireside chat, the Fawk fireside chat. Okay, now I got a question. Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle that was supposed to go number 3. He's in trouble. Who knows if he has anything necessarily to do with it, but obviously he's being charged with something that happened that night. Is this a guy you want the 49ers to go after? Give me a yes or a no in the chat. Me personally, I don't think this is a guy we want, even if he falls down low. All that talent, all this and that. I don't think this is a guy we bring in the building. It seems to me like he's just let's see. He was bailed out in 12 minutes. Took me 4 hours. Yes, but also at the same time, they did make arrangements to be handed over and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they were kind of told, hey, come in at this time. We'll get you in and out, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there was some, what really gets me is like, you knew the day before you were going to charge him with this. You knew the day, you probably knew 2 days later, oh, snap. Look at what we got here. What up, Wolf?
Yo.
What up?
What's up, man?
Back at it again. We were just talking about Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle that
Georgia
just got hit with 2 misdemeanors.
Yeah.
And
it's unfortunate, man.
I was just wondering, like, but yeah, doesn't it seem a little timely to you that they did it, like, they announced it like right as he was about ready to speak and do his stuff, and that like you know he was going to draft, right? You knew he was going to be at the combine. You
Yeah.
knew the day before you were going to charge him with these things. Why did they? It's just some. I'm not saying this is the thing, but it's starting to somebody is trying to. I don't know. The timing just makes me think like somebody's trying to do something with this information. You know what I whether he, has a hand in what happened that night, or if he just did break the law, but not necessarily didn't have a hand in anything that happened with the other two deceased individuals, the poor young kids.
Yeah.
Um, then why would you need to do that like that? You know what I mean? Like it just didn't. Something makes me go, what's going on here? But still, it seems like he had personality issues beforehand. Somebody else was talking about this. They had brought it up. And this to me seems like it's more of that. We don't need a problem on our team like that. You know, in fact, I think that the guys might be a little offended that you even thought that you could bring somebody in their locker room like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially when so many guys like Alden Smith, Reuben Foster got the boot for similar things. So yeah, I mean, I don't think the 49ers would even consider bringing him in, but I mean, and I don't know very much about the situation if I'm being honest. And what's up everybody? Shout out to everybody in the chat shouting me out, and we're just on Ryan's channel tonight, I believe, right? I saw you were going on by yourself, and um,
Well,
definitely
I
wanted
threw
to
out
make
the
some
link
time
and
if I
nobody linked
could.
their channels.
I know, man. Really, I've been super busy, like shoveling snow and all
Oh, you're
kinds of
good.
different stuff. Like, oh man, flagstaffs and like all the flagstaffs in like 4 or 5 feet of snow right now. So we're slipping and sliding all over the place, trying to get our cars out of the snow, trying to have some grip to even get into our parking spots. It's rough and rugged out here right now,
Oh,
man. But
wow.
I saw you were going on by yourself, and I don't know if you invited maybe like David McNiner or Brian or anybody. I thought that would have been a good idea, but yeah, man, I definitely wanted to make some time. This is probably going to be the last time I can come on. Starting my new job March 13th, and doing some work and stuff like that that I got to focus on. Um, so unfortunately, I probably got to shut my channel down until further notice. But when it comes to what's his name again, the tackle from Georgia, I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, Jalen Carter.
Okay, yeah. So when it comes to his situation, I heard the news. I don't know too much about it, man, but it's stupid, man. They call it young and dumb for a reason. It's not called old and dumb unless you're just old and dumb, and then that's just on you, man. But you got to be able to surround yourself with the right people if you can, man. And that's the tough thing about a lot of these guys that come into college. I think Javon Kinlaw was one of them. Is just coming from their backstories, you don't know who's in their corner and kind of helping guide them, man. And you yourself, you gotta sometimes you gotta grow up quicker than you really than typically the average person gets to, man. And it doesn't seem like it was that situation. You got to understand the situation of like um the repercussions, the possible repercussions of what you're going to do. You got to weigh the options, man. And he just did something and came out in horrible fashion, and now he's feeling the repercussions of it, man. It sucks, but it is what it is. He made the decision. um, Outside of that, hopefully it makes for a better outcome in his future when it comes to his decision making and not being so impulsive. outside of
Yeah.
that outside of that, just the how you were talking about them waiting. Like I said, I don't know enough about the situation. So I don't know, man. And
Yeah.
investigations and stuff like that, they do take a while. So maybe it was just that type of stuff, man.
I just kind of wanted to test the room because it's we're all kind of chomping at the bit for a defensive tackle, and I was kind of curious to
Yeah.
see how people would kind of talk themselves out of kind of because we kind of don't play with anything like that, whether you're especially if you're like beating a woman or so, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
there's certain things we don't cross, and the drunk driving thing and, vehicular homicide and all that, that would be, a deal breaker. But if he's found out just to be this, but I just personally think the stuff about his personality is the deal breaker, just first and foremost. Whether he's innocent, guilty of just racing, you know what I mean? That's one thing or another. That doesn't mean anything. Because there's good people that'll get in trouble for racing, decide they have a moment of weakness and want to do something. I get that. I was with the lady who had oh God, what kind of car? It was a Lotus Esprit, I think it was. It was a fast little car. We were going the back roads. And we shouldn't have been going as fast as we were, but as nobody was on there. You know what I'm saying? We was going hell fast, bro. um,
Yeah, I
yeah, I was
mean, I
getting
think everybody does it, man, but you just got to weigh the pros and cons, man, and understand what you're risking at the time.
yeah.
I think we've all been there, we've all done it, and it's just unfortunate circumstances. Have you gone through some of the personality stuff, the behavioral stuff, with everybody in the chat?
What do you mean the behavioral stuff?
Because you're talking about it wasn't just this
Oh,
incident. There's things, behavioral
well,
issues or
there was
tendencies.
some reporter that came out and said that he was hearing news of it like a while
Mhm.
ago. And then so this like when this news came out, that reporter was also trending with the name along with Henry Ruggs, which I'm not going to get into why Henry Ruggs was trending and that there was some. I'm not going to lie, I chuckled at a couple of them. It's not very funny stuff to about. I just got a weird sense of humor, but I'm not going to bring it up on the thing because it's not necessarily a funny thing at all. Uh, but yeah, it was the personality thing there. And when I hear that, like, and you're tackling it with he's breaking laws over here, especially like, look, your alcohol, I'm guessing, was involved. And if you're gonna speed and you're gonna race, okay, that's one thing. But do it while you got all your senses. Okay, being inebriated and especially with alcohol, not what you need to be doing. Alcohol and a gas pedal do not mix.
Definitely. And I'm curious if it was part of a car meet because I know a lot of people do that within cities. They have their car meets. They try to close off streets if they can for street racing. So I'm curious if it was that kind of situation as well, or if
I'm
they're just
sure
freeballing it.
I'm sure we'll get more details as time goes on, but I'm guessing there's going to be a whole silence on something for I don't know until they start a little bit of court. You know what I mean? Because he can't really talk about an oncoming investigation, or he shouldn't be talking about it, because he could perjure himself if if he says anything wrong, he could perjure himself. So, um,
Yeah, as of
would
right
you?
now it's just on to the other prospects, man. Just got to kind of
Yeah.
brush him aside, unfortunately, and start looking at everybody else.
Did
He's
you
no
see
longer an
that?
option.
Did
Go
you
ahead.
see that the 49ers were interviewing the defensive tackle from the South Carolina Gamecocks?
I didn't, man. I've been
Oh,
so unfocused on 49ers stuff.
oh, you're good.
I've
So,
been out of the loop completely. So when I tell you guys I'm not streaming and stuff, like I'm just out of the loop completely. Like it's
oh,
not just
bro.
shunning everybody. Like it's just I'm really focusing on other things right now. And
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm hoping I can get back into the groove at some point, man. But at least the way this job is sounding and everything, I'll be able to support you guys financially at least. That'll be the
Oh,
bright light in all of it. I might not be able to give you guys my time, at least when it comes to coming on shows and stuff like that, or streaming my own shows. But I know like Brian Culp, David McNiner, you, Larry or Lawrence. I know they said they call him Larry, but um, yeah, man, that'll be my that's probably going to be the way I support you guys.
we
Just
don't want to see
watching
your
it,
channel go.
donating. I know,
We don't
man.
want to see
Neither
your
do
channel
I.
go.
Neither do I. I busted my ass for that thing, man. But it's
Yeah.
just the reality of the situation is I probably have to let it go as of right now.
We got to find a way to get you to 1,000 real quick. We got to find a way to get you to a
No,
1,000.
man.
Everybody
Because
in the
really,
chat,
if this
it's
job
your
is the
goal.
way it is oh my god, the way it sounds is it's a lot like a shitload of money, man. And I'll be having to pull like 16-hour days. So there
Oh,
will be no
God.
time for streaming. It'll be work and family. That'll be it.
Work and
Maybe some
sleep.
video games on the weekend and some fishing every now and then. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'm
can't forget
telling
the
you, man.
fishing, bro. Can't
But
forget
I'll
the
be
fishing.
having to,
Keep you centered.
uh, yeah, I'll be having to commute maybe 2 hours this way, 2 hours that way, and so I'll be listening to you guys, man. I just won't be able to stream
Holy
anymore.
God.
Sucks. That channel was my baby in a sorts, man. So all the work I put into it, it sucks, but it is what it is. I gotta have my priorities, and money talks, bullshit walks sometimes. So the channel's not paying me yet, and so I have to weigh
Well,
my
and it
options.
sounds like this job is gonna set you up way more than the channel could anytime soon. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
You know,
Yeah,
because it's not like you'd have
unfortunately.
to, you know, like Grant Cohn's making good money. You know, Jesse Naylor. I haven't seen Jesse Naylor quit his job yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's doing really good. He
And
might
he's
have
doing
hit
really good.
10,000 already.
Yeah,
Um,
he could have.
he he might have hit 10,000 already, but I know he's at least right there. Um, but the thing is, like, one of the main reasons I wanted to do the channel was so I can be close to the team, cover the team, be there. Like, uh, that's kind of a dream come true. But now I might be able to just pay to be in the VIP. So, I mean, that'd be cool too, without the stress, right?
Hey,
So
bro.
we'll see.
Maybe you can go to a couple games and you can record some things and share it with us. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And don't want to count my eggs before they hatch, but that's the hope at
No.
least. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I I might be getting back on with Budweiser.
Hell yeah. That was the one I was
Yeah.
checking out too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a buddy who has a friend who just moved down there, and he's like, bro, he's like, this guy he gets paid a lot more than what he used to, and he works a lot less. He goes into stores and goes, hey, you guys want a display? And if they say
Baby.
yes, yeah, if they say yes, he just calls up the salesman and says, "Hey, put 200 cases on this store's thing. When is
Yeah.
it getting delivered?" And when it gets delivered, he just builds the display.
There you
It's
go.
dude, building displays are so fun. You just sit around, just stack beer to make. You know, it takes a lot of
Legos.
talent. It takes a lot of talent to make a stack of beer not look like
Mhm.
just a stack of beer.
Yeah, man. I've seen some pretty cool displays, man. Really cool ones in different stores. Not just Budweiser, but all kinds of different stuff. Pepsi. The Super Bowl ones were kind of cool, especially since
Oh
we're
yeah.
here in Arizona. They had some pretty cool ones. Um, what was I
Pepsi
going
and
to say?
Coke, they're kind of lucky because they can kind of draw things out. You know, like use grid paper, and you can draw things out using the 12 packs going sideways, and you can. Sometimes they'll just take the end off of one, cut it in a certain way, and just tape it onto another one to make it look like a half color. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
it's kind of slick how they could do it, but you need a lot of product to do that crap. And if you're a merchandiser and you got to rotate, oh, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick all
yeah,
those out, pick them out, pull them down, put them in the shelf, and then you got to put the new ones back in its spot.
yeah.
It's a pain.
Stevo Supremo's asking who's moving up to the first pick.
I don't know. Do you? So I hear a lot of talk about the Colts doing that, but the Colts GM doesn't really make moves like that. And there seems like so what I heard on the Pat McAfee show was that you've got the owner of the Colts going, yeah, this guy doesn't do shit like that. You know, he loves his GM, but he's just like, oh, this guy doesn't do shit like that. But you know, this is what I want. This is what I want him to do that shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I don't know. It seems like it's it's not the same. It's not the same as like with Trey Lance. That Trey Lance move. There was a handful of good quarterbacks, supposedly. You know what I mean? Like five of them, and you had to move up to get to just one of them because they were going to be gone by what, the 12th pick. All five of them were gone by the 12th pick because what, the Bears got Fieldman, and then New England got Mac Jones at 12. So, or wait, no, we were at 12. or did they move up to anyway, they got Mac Jones like right after that. So I don't think the Colts aren't moving up that much. There's a whole bunch of quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Unless somebody's going for the D ends or that, or the D tackle, but he's going to fall down in the draft. So I don't know if you're going to have to give up as much draft capital. You know what I mean? To move up to get that first pick, especially when Chicago's like, they're not picking a quarterback, I don't think. To me, I've heard some
Yeah.
people put a good case to, what was it, trade Fields to somebody for a first and a second, I think it was, or something like that. And then you turn around, draft the quarterback with your first round pick. Then you can essentially draft wide receivers and offensive linemen to essentially put all around him. You restart your rookie contract and you essentially do a whole do-over, start everything over, but you start with more draft capital, which I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it, but as a Bears fan, I'd be like, why are we doing this all over again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Justin Fields, we know he's got feet. If you give him some wide receivers, you could pass with him. I just don't know why they wouldn't want to move off that first pick if they weren't looking for a quarterback also.
Yeah. I mean,
You,
I understand the logic of wanting to get, draft capital, but for me, I keep Justin Fields, man. That dude has a lot of talent.
one in the
Um,
hands worth two in the
he
bush.
that and he does a lot of things on his own, man. He pulls stuff out of the hat. Um, like I think you just move back in the draft, uh, get more draft capital. You can use that for trades as well.
Yep.
Draft some people to surround him, man. Get a nice, young, cheap team. I think that's a very key thing in the NFL today is getting a young, cheap team if you can, and go on a run. Build around, put pieces around Justin Fields because he's a really good building block. I think.
Yeah, and you could move down and go like pick heavy in this draft. And the reason being is because you've still got Justin Fields on his rookie quarterback, right? You need some good wide receivers. You need a lot of things. So if you go quantity over quantity, you might be able to fill more holes than you can by just getting certain superstars. And I think filling more holes is a better case now because you can get those guys that'll be great next year and all their training this year. And if you suck again, well, then you get a high draft pick. And then you can use that on getting the quality. You know what I mean? Because you went for
Yeah.
quantity the year before, and now you're building on that foundation from all those quantity guys, and you're adding the quality. So I think
And
like
that's the
yeah, go
thing
ahead.
too that I don't know enough about the Bears to be able to say like, hey, they're keeping this guy. This guy's a free agent, and I don't know who all they're keeping, right? And so some of that draft capital, you might use it for trades and whatever. So I don't know. It's really tough to talk about it honestly, because I just don't know enough about how many. Like, do they want to go on a run, or do they want to get a lot of young guys come in, get them reps this year, and contend next year? That's going to be the thing that they're going to talk about in house, I'm sure. So, uh,
Want to say what's up to Raj from our San Francisco 40 or SF 49ers.
what's up,
SF is
Raj?
short for San Francisco. Yep.
My guy.
Steve-O says the Lions. Um, I don't know. I think they're sticking with Goff. I think if they pick up a quarterback, it it it'll be in the maybe not the first round, maybe not the second round, but it might be late, like third on, because I see him not being their obviously their end all quarterback. Like he's not the guy. He is totally a bridge. But they also he's working right now. And I think if they were able to get a guy and sit him behind and kind of, let their defense kind of teach them some things because they got a great defense. Well, an upcoming defense. I think that could really help them, and then they can go. You know, at Jared Goff. I'm sorry, but it's just not working out, bro. Like Jared Goff almost lost the Pro Bowl for the NFC. Like he seriously almost did, and I just I think they're going to get away from him. I just don't see them spending good capital on it now. I see them putting more players on their defense and putting more players on their offense to kind of get further down the road, and then maybe place a little bet, get a little hedge their bet later on in the draft. Kind of get a guy because you don't want to just make Jared Goff. Oh, this guy's in the building. No, no, we got a fourth round quarterback. He's just a backup, but we like everything that he does.
Do
You
you
know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
Do you know what pick the Lions have right now?
No, but
No.
I can
I would
figure it
assume
out.
it's not that high, regardless. So I would just stay right where they're at. You got a guy like Goff. Under Goff, the Lions have put up a lot of offense, and I think you kind of put some more pieces around him, build a team, and draft a quarterback where you're at. I wouldn't give up too much. This is one of the more flooded quarterback markets that I've noticed, that I've seen, with actual good quarterback potential. Not great, but pretty good quarterback potential. I think the market is flooded with those type of guys this year. Um, you know, solid, solid backups, man. Really good backups, I should say. So if I'm the Lions, I'd probably stay where I'm at. I don't think they would move up to the first pick in the draft.
Number 6 and number 18. Yeah, I'm staying
There
there.
you go. Go.
I'm staying there all day.
Maybe trade the 18th and a second for the first overall pick. I could see that. Now the thing is, I
Eight.
don't know if they would go for a quarterback, and maybe you go out there and you get yourself another Calvin Johnson.
Well, I think they could probably, with their first pick at 6, they could probably get themselves a really nice edge and put another playmaker on the other side of TJ Hawkinson. Is that the guy? Isn't that their DN?
Dude, if you're at 6 and 18, you can. I don't know. I don't know how everybody's looking right now. Who's all looking for a quarterback in the first round? But I mean, come on. At number 6, I'm pretty sure you can get some damn good talent at the quarterback position,
You
especially if
could
the 49ers can catch a guy at the last pick of the draft.
you could even
Who's
move down from that 6 pick. I bet you there's somebody that might want to move up there. You can move down on that 6 pick,
yeah,
get a to somebody who wants a quarterback, move down on the 6th pick to get the edge anyways or something like that. And then
yeah.
like I just don't see them. Well, who knows? I don't see them going after a quarterback early in the draft and like making Jared Goff think that his time is the time is ticking. His clock is ticking. You know what I mean?
Well, what about this? For the 49ers, do you mind if I ask the chat um, who would they bring in the quarterback market? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so chat, and then I'll ask Ryan. This will give him some time to think about it. So the chat, everybody who's on the quarterback market right now, in my speculation, my assumption, my opinion, I think the 49ers go and get somebody in the quarterback market, free agent market, as well as draft a guy. Um, who would you guys like to see the 49ers bring in as a free agent quarterback? Please let me know as soon as possible. We got guys up there like Carson Wentz, Marcus Mariota, um, maybe even Matt Ryan,
Jacoby
uh,
Brissett,
Jacoby
um,
Brissett,
Keenan
Cooper
Allen.
Rush.
Is it Keenan? There's there's a Keenan, right? I seen the tweet earlier. There was a me personally. I want Marcus Mariota or a Jacoby
That'd be really
Brissett.
cool.
Yes, and then Stetson Bennett. That's who I draft.
Na- Nathan Z is asking as a starter or a backup. Anybody
Well,
who doesn't watch me that much, I would understand that question, but uh, everybody who watches me, I think, knows that I feel Trey Lance is the starting quarterback no matter who you bring in. I wouldn't be opposed to a competition just to keep him sharp. I understand that part, but he needs a shot, man. We need to get him out there, get him some reps so that he can show his potential, show that he's worth all the draft capital that we gave up for him, or maybe even worth draft capital in a trade. So it's his audition, man, because everybody can throw out all the excuses for him in the world that he hasn't gotten a fair shot. The 49ers just need to give him a fair shot, open up the playbook, and see what he's got. See if he falls on his face or he doesn't. So I think Trey Lance has to play. He's the one that's been in the system the longest. So that guy's going to be a backup until Brock Purdy comes back.
And I think
I'm talking about
Minshew,
that free agent.
yeah, I think Minshew is under contract with the Eagles. But also, like, you ask, is it starter or backup? Like, it could be both. You know what I mean? Look what happened last year. Trey Lance got hurt, what, week 2? Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt against the Dolphins, which was what, week 10?
Let me put it this way. Look, Trey Lance is our starter. Right
Yeah.
now, he is our starter. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think we could all agree as of right now, 49ers, you ask them who their quarterback is going forward right now, is Trey Lance. That's how it is,
Yeah.
guys. So I'm just asking about who should we bring in for depth,
Yeah.
for maybe a
But
chance to compete with Trey Lance.
I've had people, say, why would somebody like Marcus Mariota come in to be a QB3? And it's like, because they're not going to be a QB3. As the season starts, Trey Lance right now will be the only quarterback that will be able to go through training camp and be able to start week 1. That we know for sure. Okay. Brock Purdy, the more his surgery gets pushed out, the more obvious it is he won't be able to start the beginning of the season. So to your point, yes, like Trey Lance is the starter. But you bring in a backup quarterback like a Marcus Mariota, we're still waiting for Purdy to come back in. So he is QB2 at that point in time. Anything can happen. People can get injured. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not like somebody is so like, oh, I can't go to San Francisco because I'm going to be QB3. Well, look at our QB3 last year. No one would have thought he would have played, or else we would have probably drafted and kept more quarterbacks on the roster, and we would have had better of them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
at the beginning of the season, Kyle wasn't like, oh yeah, let's get to QB3. I know I'm going to get to QB3, and Brock Purdy is going to be the guy I need. You know what I mean? That's not what he was thinking. So it's like
Yeah.
anything can happen. So and these quarterbacks know that, and it's a system where they can look really good. You're talking about somebody who's trying to be a starter again, try to revamp their career. This could be a place that could get you off to another team, being a full-fledged starter, and people actually believing in you again.
Well, I see a lot of good points in the chat, man.
That's what I'm looking
One of the
for.
things when Marcus Mariota is that type of guy, he has that self awareness, I think, to where he's willing to take a role, like you just said, understanding the situation, understanding he can still get a shot. Like he's not a starter in this league, at least in my opinion. But that competitive nature, he's going to be willing to go out there and compete and wait for his shot. If he gets a chance, he's going to be ready and willing to do so. Now, Nathan Z says he'd take Mariota as a backup. I would like that. Marcus Mariota. I think Carson
Yeah.
Wentz would be above him in my book. I would like a
Ah,
Carson Wentz, man.
you could
Uh,
like him. I don't.
in my opinion, all these guys are backups no matter what to Trey Lance. Like Trey Lance has shown me a lot of good things. I know everybody else has to see it, but in my opinion, from what I've seen, uh, he can take us places, man. He has a lot of great potential. So Carson Wentz as a backup, I think could be a really good depth.
My only thing is his best games are against us, and if he's playing for us, he can't have any of his best games.
Yeah, because he's going to be on the scout team.
You know what I mean? Like,
He's going to keep that defense sharp. And we're going to
well,
have a lot. We're probably going to have a lot of new guys on that defense, man. So
man, did you not just make a great point there? Maybe Carson Wentz can be the, oh gosh, what's his name? what's the quarterback's coach that we all love? I just blowing my mind right
Brian
now.
Greasy.
Brian Greasy. Maybe he could be the Brian Greasy for the 49ers defense. That really gets them all in line.
Yeah. Man,
Gets
yeah,
them,
he's giving us some
doing the
fits,
right
man.
drills. Doing the right drills.
That's part of the reason. Oh no, no Fitzpatrick. No.
Oh, we got.
That dude's over there sitting on a couch somewhere right now,
Look, I
probably
would have
playing
taken him
Madden.
in the playoffs. I would have taken him off the couch in the playoffs in a
Oh my
second.
God. I would have taken anybody. I would have taken Steve Young. I would have taken my damn self.
Yeah.
I would have called Kyle Shanahan up if I had his number.
Kyle, it's Wolf. You can't do what you're about to do. I got the weekend off, bro.
I will never understand why they didn't just run the Wildcat. Why did you take space up on the field with somebody who couldn't perform? Me, in the moment, it looked like Brock Purdy can throw off of what I saw on the sideline during the broadcast. Now, I was wrong. That wasn't the situation. But I understood that was my opinion, that I thought it looked like he could play. Now, understanding the situation afterwards, why did they not go the Wildcat or anything like that, man? I just don't understand that. It's taking up space by somebody who couldn't perform at all whatsoever.
You didn't watch the Bussin' with the Boys CMC interview, did you?
I think so.
Because
was it when he was asking for both teams to lose?
Well, that was they asked about that. They asked about that in the conversation, but that wasn't where the original comment came. They had re-brought it up, but he was saying that CMC said he was supposed to make a call for one of the double reverses, and he said he screwed it up. He couldn't remember anything. He said that's why Brock had to come in, because he's the only one who can say the whole call and actually know what everything means, I guess, is pretty much what he was told.
What a mark.
And
I'm just messing with you, CMC. I love you, man, but you're a mark for that one.
Dude,
no, they talk all this shit, man, but I mean, when it comes down to the moment, like you just said, like they kind of dropped the ball there. But they're like, in my opinion, it should have just been like, okay, snap it to CMC, play some backyard football. Fuck it. You guys know the formations. That's all you got to call.
They tried to do a couple of those on the field, and it wasn't really working right.
Well, it was working. I think it was working better than what they were doing with damn Brock Purdy back in there hurt.
Well, he was like,
we had a better shot that way, 11 on 11.
He's like, they knew we were running. All we were doing is running, and it's not like they shut us down. He's like, we were still moving down the field. You know what I mean? Like, he was. Look, I think I would go back and watch that interview. It starts at 36 minutes into that podcast. It's really good. It talks about how his dad, at 8 years old, his dad told him, if you get jersey tackled, you're getting grounded. And so that interview came out, and just today, his dad tweeted a picture of him in one of these games, and somebody grabbing his undershirt, and his undershirt being stretched out, and his dad just, like wrote with his finger on the picture. It says grounded.
There you go. And like, I'm seeing stuff in the chat, guys. You guys do not understand what I am saying. I said backyard football. Backyard football. What does that mean? You throw the plays out the damn window. You play turkey bowl style. These guys are athletes. Most all of them can throw, pretty okay, at least well enough. Backyard football, I would have rather seen backyard football than what the hell we had to go through the NFC Championship. So I'm not talking about calling plays. I'm talking about backyard football. Just try and make something happen. Like they do in the longest yard. Time for some schoolyard bullshit. That's my opinion, man. They're athletes.
Yeah.
But we're way past that. Go ahead.
They asked him, well, don't you have any turbo plays? Like where you can just call out a number or a word? And he's like, yeah, we had those. And he's like, well, why didn't you use those? And he's like, because Jimmy's the only one who knows what those mean. Or not, you know what I'm saying? Like the quarterback's the only one. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Then how do you use them then? Like Like I understand out of everybody, maybe CMC might not be as, but you think CMC would know those damn things? Like why is anybody going onto the field without knowing that? That those should be, you know, we always had at least 4 plays. You know what I mean? At one word, you could say one word, and I knew what play that was, and there was 4 words that were 4 words that were attached to 4 plays that we could run.
Just literally just go and put your brains together, man. Just be like, hey, you guys just go get open. And I'm gonna try and get it to you. Like we
Yeah.
lost what 31-7. What's the worst that can happen? I think we were put through more brutality just watching Brock Purdy be out there and do nothing. So I would have thrown those plays out the window and just Hail Married the whole game away. Not
Did
literally like the play Hail Mary, but
yeah.
basically every play be Hail Mary feeling. What are you saying?
Did you watch the Richard Sherman Nick Bosa interview?
Oh, I don't. I think I
Just
did. I know I
that
saw some
one.
thoughts from Richard Sherman after the game, but what happened?
So it was Bosa's first podcast.
Mm.
Um,
Since the
it was
NFC Championship.
no, he said it was his first podcast ever.
Oh,
Um, Not interview,
hmm.
but like podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did it was like a 25-minute interview. It was actually pretty long. And you could tell it was probably like, yeah, sure, I'll do a podcast with you because I know you. Like he feels comfortable. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't that shy guy like in front of the stands. It was like he was just talking to his buddy Sherm, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool. But he said, you know, I thought that getting the defensive player of the year award, he says, I thought I would feel,
Quench
you
my
know,
thirst.
yeah. He said I
Yeah.
thought it would quench my thirst, and it didn't. It didn't. Nothing did it. They also
Yeah.
said, what's the chance of getting your brother to take a pay cut and come to the 49ers? And he just laughed. He's like, not Joey. Like, in other words, Joey really likes his money. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting him to take a pay cut. You know what I'm saying?
And that brings up a great point because that was one of the questions I asked. I think after the NFC Championship. But Bosa came out after, and he said about the pay cut, he's willing to do a team friendly deal.
Mhm.
Allegedly, that's a lot of people speculating, saying he's just talking out his ass. He really wants that bag. Do you think Bosa would actually do a team friendly deal?
So,
And
well,
how does the chat
yes.
feel?
Yes, I think he would, but you kind of got to figure out what that means. You know what I mean? Like I see Bosa taking less money overall, but more money guaranteed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I see him taking less
signing
overall,
bonus.
right, but more guaranteed just because he has had injuries, and I like that's what I would do. I'd be like, look, I'm hella talented. Yeah, I've had some injury stuff in the past, right?
Mhm.
So I just want guaranteed money, but I want to be at a value to where you can put people around me to make my job easier. That's I'd be like, look, that's my situation. I just want to make sure I get the money I'm worth while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And and you got somebody else you could put next to me because that's really what I need. I can't be the only person on this line. You know.
I would definitely try and incentivize it as much as I can get away with as the 49ers. Just knowing how Bosa, he goes every other year without tearing one of his ACL or MCLs, right? So he'll play a whole year and do amazing. Then the next year, he's out the whole year. Then he'll come back, have another amazing year. Then he's out the whole next year. So I would, if the 49ers can get away with some incentives to where he has to play certain amount of games to get this certain amount of money, I would try and get away with that. But he has a lot of leverage, man, because he's an amazing player and an important player at that.
And also, you gotta feel the room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because yeah, you could go in there and be like, yeah, let's do incentives. You know what I mean? And then they go, no, we really don't want to do incentives. And then you go, no, we want to do incentives. And they're like, No, we're not doing incentives. You do it. You talk about incentives again, and we're going to make you pay. You know what I mean? Like there's that too. You know, you got to be able to read the room to where you want to go in with a plan, and if it's not going to work, Bosa's got all the leverage here. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you can trade Bosa, you can do all this, but you are not having the effect anymore. You better take all that capital and everything that you got off of trading Bosa and put it into the secondary because you are going to need it. You know, you're not going to be
Well,
able to
I mean,
use.
you might have to flip it and put it into the D line
I don't think you'll be able to
because
get.
2 for 1.
Yeah, but I don't think you'll be able to get uh, that big of an increase that you will need to make up for what you lost. You know what I mean? Like
We just
what
have
I'm.
so many free agents on the D line right now that's why I'm saying, kind of getting more bang for your buck. That's probably the wrong way to say it,
Value.
but two really good players for the price of one amazing player,
No, no.
if you know what I
I
mean, on the D
I,
line.
I get what you're saying. I'm see, we got Chris Kosaric, right? So it's not
Yeah,
like um which also Nick Bosa in that interview had said that his coach at Ohio State was the best for form, physical form. You know, teaching you technique and all that. You know, the best. He said hands down. He said Kosuric is the best in his scheme, best scheming in his formation that there is around. And he's like, and I'm just lucky to be here. So that's why I think, we need Nick Bosa, but at the same time, like, if you're going to trade that away, we could, like, the secondary is going to need help. That's why I was saying it'd be better to just kind of put that and go get another corner, bang out corner that's locked down. You know what I mean? So if our defensive line can't get enough rush, that we'd be at least good on the back end. You know what I mean? Because it would be
I feel
harder to
like we're
find like
pretty damn
another.
good. I just feel like we're pretty damn good on the back end. Now, just the one thing I do want to know, what I do want to see is whether they're going to bring Mosley back. If they bring
Yeah.
Mosley back, I think we're set on the back end. And then especially Tayshawn Gibson and Jimmy Ward, depending how things go with that. Oh man, if we get all three of those guys back by some miraculous uh, uh, scenario, that'd be awesome. And I think we're set on the back end. And part of
Also,
that will.
Nick Bosa alluded that maybe man might be coming back. Um, but I I don't necessarily know if that's a thing. Or if that's just wishful thinking. Like, we gotta, E-Man, he's our guy. But
I'm pretty sure.
E-Man's going for. It looks like he might fetch upwards of $15.6 million.
How much?
15.6.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Of course, you can try and shoot for that, right? That's what everybody's going to shoot for. Their highest buck they possibly can, but I mean that's where negotiations start. 49ers start low, he's going to start high, me in the middle. But I don't know, man. Go ahead.
I was wondering what you thought about this. Do you think not will the 49ers manage to bring well, do you think Jimmy Ward will want to come back to the 49ers? I'm pretty sure he's going to want to play next year.
I'm sure he wants to come back, but sounds like his incentive is money, and so he's going to go where the money's at. So I don't think he's going to be back, man. Sucks to
And
say, he's one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player on the 49ers. One of them, definitely. Um, but I don't think it's going to happen, man, unless some crazy thing happens like we trade a Bosa, which would be another ridiculous. Like, I don't want to see either of those guys go, but I think um, Jimmy Ward is going to be one of them to go, and Tayshawn Gibson comes back. Maybe Emmanuel Mosley, but something that plays into that, I think Grant Cohn made the point, I believe, was he was talking about something that's I think rings pretty true, man. It's pretty smart. The Chiefs they don't really invest in their secondary when it comes to corners, man. And like we brought in Mooney Ward. They weren't willing to pay Mooney Ward for whatever reason, right? We bring him in. There's no reason he shouldn't be paid. He's really good, all that type of stuff, right? 49ers lean on a guy because Mosley gets hurt. Like, what do you call Mosley gets hurt. Diamador comes in, does really good. The 49ers have shown that they're really good at developing corners. This is the same thing that happened with Mosley, right? So if you can continue to bring in young guys that where you have really good depth and invest in it through draft capital or even undrafted free agent capitals, then that might be the best way to go. I love Mosley, what he brings to the table. Like, I love having him. I would rather have him than not, but I understand the logic as well, to where, like, even Grant talked about where you go to the Super Bowl and they're calling ticky-tack plays on the secondary, right? So it doesn't really matter a whole lot because the NFL is so lopsided towards the offense. They're favored so much more that it doesn't really matter who's in there. You're probably still going to get penalized. But I mean, even the 49ers, they really help these guys out schematically. So maybe just going with young guys through the draft might be the way to go. But it's tough to say.
What was I? There's something else that happened in the Nick Bosa interview that I wanted to bring up too.
What was it?
I can't remember now. I can't remember now. I forgot.
Talking about what though?
I can't remember. There was the Nick Bosa interview. There's something else that came out of that. There's a lot of good stuff that came out of both those interviews. I suggest you go back in.
Richard Sherman has a really good show. Another really good one that I had seen a while back was Shannon Sharp interviewing Chad Johnson. If you guys, Chad Ochocinco, if you guys get a chance to go watch that one. Was that the Shay
Club?
I think so. It's a really good one, man.
Good.
That was a really good show.
Have you seen, what's that one? The Pivot? Is it The Pivot?
Who's that?
Pivot. I think it's no. It's
is that the damn Kelsey brothers?
No, that one's all right, but
because I don't want to see those guys' faces, man. Can't stand those motherfuckers.
There's another one. I can't remember the name of it. It's they're funny. They're just down to earth dudes. They're just regular. They're regular guys, and they.
Is that the one that? Is that the one that? What's his name? The running back from the Texans. Is that the one where they had that conspiracy where he was talking about the NFL being rigged? Why am I forgetting his name right now?
They were talking about the Adrian Peterson.
No, close.
Adrian Peterson.
Close.
Yeah, it's
Arian Foster. Was it Arian Foster?
Was it Arian? Starts with the
Pretty
name.
sure it was Arian Foster, man.
But yeah, they were talking about him and they were making fun of him. No, it's I can't remember the name of it.
But it's a Pivot. Okay, no, so what about it?
No, it came off of the Pivot. They used to be on the Pivot with what's the guy, Brandon Marshall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They had issues with him and they broke off.
Yeah.
Whatever they created, it's more of like
it's like all ex-players.
Yeah, it's a little more relaxed environment. You know what I mean? Everybody letting their hair down, talking about shit, cursing and stuff like it. It's, to me, it's one of my favorites because they talk about like the little shit that no one would ever think of. You know what I mean? And they're just clowning on these things. You know what I mean? It's the little itty bitty things, like that you would only get to see if you were a fly on the wall. You know what I mean? Like reporters don't even get to see. You know what I mean? And these little things that mean nothing, but just can be so hilarious.
Yeah, that's why people watch, man. Kicking your feet up and being in person, having a good time. Bebop Jones says we save money by kicking Jimmy G out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't have a whole lot of money either way. Unfortunately, we still got to restructure guys like Armstead, Fred Warner.
He wasn't that expensive on the contract we had him on. He was very manageable last year.
One of the great ones
pay more for Mariota.
Debo Samuel's only 8.5 right now towards the cap this year.
Yeah.
So I mean that's amazing. He's gonna kick our ass next year when it comes to the cap. But yeah, man, we don't have a whole lot of money right now. So I'm waiting to see what happens with the Armstead Fred Warner situation.
Um, Sunil from So Real Sports Talk
Mm,
uh, had a great point that I don't think a lot of people are are ready for. And it was when all this news of restructuring came out, and he
mhm.
said, "I think people need to be prepared that a lot of this money that they're making, or some of this money that they're making room for, is to re-sign McGlinchey." And well, and actually, in the CMC interview on Bussin' with the Boys, they all go, "Man, everybody hates McGlinchey. I don't see why." And McCaffrey's like, "I know, I don't see it either." And I'm like, "What the fuck are these guys like? Is it us? I'm questioning it. Is it us?
Hey, McCaffrey,
Because
did you have any great runs to the right?
yeah,
Do we
I'm sure
remember
he did.
any great runs by McCaffrey to the right?
Well, yeah, and also like in the
He
touchdown
got
run
stuffed in the backfield almost every single time, man. About
in the
80% of the time running to the right, McCaffrey was stuffed in the backfield and
in
had to
the
make something out of nothing. Same thing with Debo.
in the NFC Championships, he ran right behind McGlinchey for the touchdown, and McGlinchey actually blocked three players on that play.
Dude,
I'm
no,
not
CMC he had to pull something out of his ass for that touchdown. That's what made it so miraculous.
the one up
The
the
stuff
gut,
that
the one up the gut.
well, CMC only had one touchdown,
Yeah, he went up the
and
gut, and
it
that's
was to the
that's
right, and he had to break like
no,
3 or
no,
4 tackles on the
it was
way.
up the gut because McGlinchey pulled.
It was to the right, bro. It was to the right, but he had to CMC had to break like 3 or 4 tackles on the way to that. That's what made it so miraculous. The NFC Championship, right? Against the Eagles.
Eagles. I swear we're talking about different plays because, like the
He
one
only
I
had one
remember.
touchdown. It went
Yeah,
for about maybe 12 yards, I think,
no, it
and
was less than that, wasn't it?
maybe
It
yeah.
was
It
like
was it was right there in the red zone.
4 or 5 yards. I can't remember,
It
but
seemed a lot longer because, like I said, man, he had to break like 3 or 4 tackles by himself. CMC did. So that's what I'm talking about, man. Like McGlinchey, that's supposed to be his strength. Yet
was it
all
against the
basically
Cowboys then?
80%, maybe 90% of our successful run plays were to the left, behind Trent Williams, George Kittle, all those guys.
But
But that's supposed to be he's just not
he's a
worth it, bro.
he's a great
Go ahead.
run blocker. My issues with is
Allegedly.
yeah, no, that's fine. My problem
Yeah.
is with his pass blocking,
Oh yeah.
and
That's the biggest problem. Yeah.
that's why I'm like, how are these pros not seeing it? Because John Lynch doesn't see it, Kyle doesn't see it, um, Taylor Lewan doesn't see it, um, Christian McCaffrey doesn't see it, and either does what's his name, the other guy on Bussin' with the Boys, Will Compton. He didn't see it either. And there's other people who don't see it, and I'm like, but like he just lets people run past him as he's like waiting to help the guard when there's nobody inside, and you're supposed to get the guy to the outside. Like, it makes no sense to me. I I don't know, but I think people need to be prepared because it's not what we think, it's what they think, and they have told us time and time again how much they think of him. You know,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think Kyle Shanahan tends to have his head up his own ass a little too much and too often.
he
And he
smells his
feels
own
that way
farts.
about yeah, he feels that way about all his ex-players for the most part, man. Uh, that's why he continues to bring in guys like Tevin Coleman, all the guys that know his system, right? They get favoritism. So I don't know, man. I think at that point he's going to be too expensive. We got to save as much money as we can. He's not a difference maker, so I would bring somebody young in if you can, somebody who's not going to cost you really anything. And
And
Burford, I think, was part of the lack of success to the right just because of his youth. And I think having this year under his belt, having another offseason, putting off on some muscle, I think he's going to have an even better year this year. So I'm pumped up for Burford, man. Looking to see what he brings to the table. The one I'm curious about, and he's probably going to outprice himself, is Brendel. Oh no,
Oh,
Brunskill. My fault. Brunskill.
oh, yeah.
Brunskill. The Swiss Army knife, man.
Somebody like I don't understand how somebody isn't like waiting for him because to me, to me,
They are, man. I'm sure they
yeah,
are.
to me, I'm looking for a guy like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm gonna
Yeah.
find a spot for you. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna pay you because I know you're consistent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You might not be the best, and I'm not gonna pay you good money, but I'm gonna pay you enough to be happy to sit there. You know what I mean? Because when I need you, I'm gonna use you, bruh. That's why, like you were talking about getting younger at the tackle position, the right tackle position.
Younger and cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I'm totally down for that, but I don't think they seriously have thought about this well because like they keep dragging along McKivitz. Like next year is going to be the year, and we
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet. Why don't we have a rotating door of right tackles every year with the draft? And if the guy don't cut it, we draft the guy the next year. You know what I mean? If he's not good enough in 1 year or 2 years, then cut him and get the next guy. You know what I mean? Like every year we should be drafting tackles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every year
That's a
draft a tackle.
In my
So you got to
opinion,
replace
that's
him.
the biggest position of need for the 49ers. I know a lot of people say D line. I completely disagree with that. Maybe that would probably fall second. To me, the problem we had showed in the NFC Championship. Now, look, the play where Brock Purdy got hurt, I put that on Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. That's who I put it on. I don't put it on McGlinchey. I don't put it on Croft. It sucks. I wish I could. I wish they could have bought Purdy more time. But holy shit, what did he have? 3.47 seconds to throw the damn ball with the hot read at that. So I mean, pocket awareness, feeling the pressure goes into it, but also knowing that you have to get rid of the ball around 2 seconds. That's part of it as well, helping your O line out. Um, so I put that on Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy because schematically, I think it was a little messed up too. But right tackle is our biggest position of need because I think all season that right tackle spot was a liability, like you said, when it came to pass protection.
And
So yeah, go ahead.
and I want to shout out Mariah because
Hmm.
she was one who's been banging the drum about this position, and it's not sewed up yet. So I'd also like to mention it. But safety, if Gibson doesn't come back, you know what I mean. We and either does Ward. We have a big, huge hole right there, and with our defensive scheme, we like to have talented safeties and manageable cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? That's normally our style.
You have to
And
get that has to be a priority to bring one of those guys back.
yeah, yeah. And that's why I gotta
Preferably,
go
who
ahead.
who who would you prefer out of the two? Because I would prefer Jimmy Ward, but I understand he would most likely be way more expensive. So that's what makes it tough, and I would settle for Tayshawn Gibson for sure.
I actually feel that Gibson might get more because he had the picks. You know what I mean? He had the more amount of picks. Now, Jimmy showed he could cover like a motherfucker. Okay? Now
Yeah.
don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
playing nickel is no joke as a
No
safety
joke.
coming down. Holy shit, man.
Like to be able to do that, it just shows how much of a Swiss Army knife Jimmy is. But
Yeah,
I think everybody just is drawn to the interceptions
turnovers.
because turnovers, win games. And I would rather have Gibson because if we're talking about a safety, I want our safety getting interceptions, and I'm not worried about my safety covering nickel slot. You know what I mean? That's for the nickel. You know what I mean? So,
So Tayshawn Gibson got what? He got 5 interceptions on the season, right?
mhm.
Okay. At least 3 of those were arm punts by third string quarterbacks in their first start. Arm punts, guys.
Yep.
Jarrett Stidham was for sure one of them. An arm punt in his first start as what? Was he a third or he was second string, right? Then what's the other guy? Blows. David Blow.
Wow.
David Blow. 2 interceptions on arm punts as a third string quarterback in his first game as a starter. So I don't give Tayshaun Gibson more credit than he deserves.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I would rather have Jimmy Ward in sticky coverage, not giving up big plays, than 3 out of 5 interceptions that are arm punts that came on arm punts.
That's a very valid point.
But the price tag has to play into that too as well. So
And we think, with Jimmy's last contract, he's going to be wanting a bag.
yeah, man. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely not be sad if we brought Tayshaun Gibson and not Jimmy Ward. I mean,
Well, because John Lynch was even talking about it, like, oh yeah, we want Tayshaun Gibson back, and this and that, and then you got to think Kyle told Jimmy, well, I don't care if you want to play your safety role, you're going
you
to
want to
play
ride the
nickel
bench?
or ride the bench, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Jimmy's
Fucker.
like the only way Jimmy's coming back is if he's taking a hometown deal because he wants to win a ring with us. That's the only way Jimmy's coming back. And
or if they give him a multi-year contract.
But I don't think but they're going to do
Space
that
the
as a
money out.
nickel. They're going to be like, Jimmy, you got to play nickel.
But make it to where he retires as a 49er. Give him a 3-year extension.
They'll do that anyways. They'll with a 1-day contract.
No, I think they're looking for a 1 to 2 year contract, maybe 2 at max. But if they make it to where he retires as a 49er, like, hey, dude, we want you to retire here. You've been here longer than any of these guys outside of Dante Johnson. I think the fans want you here. They want you to leave here a 49er. And I think that would be the best for you as well, man. You can feel right at home for the rest of your career.
I just got to say, I love Jimmy Ward because he's my type of asshole.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's all for the team. You know what I mean? Like, he will cut somebody. He will cut somebody for, his teammates. But he'll also chew them out. You know what I mean? Because you're mine. You know what I mean? You're my teammate, and if you're acted wrong, I'm gonna let you know. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna let anybody else talk about you. Yeah. And
He's
then
gonna
on the
roast you.
field, like when he hit Geno Smith at the end of the first half there in that game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like getting penalties, but I like the fact that Jimmy's like, I'm gonna send this motherfucker a signal right quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're putting a shot across his bow right now, and we're sending a signal to all the rest of y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, same thing, man. And I believe Kyle Shanahan got really mad at him for that.
I like his style of asshole.
No, I like it. I like it a lot.
Look, the only thing that was wrong with that, there wasn't enough time left on the clock. Or there was too much time left on the clock when he did it.
Yeah.
Even though I think it would have caused a penalty and it would have been dead time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the game was pretty close at that point, too. But I think the 49ers are going to separate themselves. Like, for the Seahawks in that game, it just felt like they had to play mistake-free, trying their best to not make the mistake. And it was bend but don't break like the whole game. And once they made that one mistake, it just completely unraveled for them. Just like the 49ers against the Chiefs with Garoppolo under center. Once that one mistake happened, everything unraveled. When Nathan Z says Aaron Banks was solid this year, yeah, man. I have a problem. I think it's kind of a little bit of a problem where I kind of, if something's kind of goes without saying, like a Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, that left side of the line, and if I don't talk about them, it's because I'm kind of giving them kudos. If I'm not talking about them too much, it's because they're not the
life
problem.
of an offensive lineman.
So exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Aaron Banks was awesome, man. So looking forward again to another year for him, man. Aaron Banks, Jason Poe, Zakel, Burford, all you guys, again, go work with Trent Williams, man. Pick his brain before he goes. Fly out to wherever he's flying out and have camp with him, just like last year.
I wanted to touch on this.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and finish your point.
Okay. No, just a quick statement, man. I feel like Trent Williams is like the Brian Greasy of the O-line, man, and he's grooming these young guys to be in his form. So I
dude.
think go ahead.
So on the on the Bussin' with the Boys interview, Taylor
Uh,
won. They're like, so so there's 32 teams that you can go to after getting cut. Well, no, there's 31 teams that you could go to after getting cut. And he's like, well, 30. He's like, huh? And he's like, the Niners, they got Trent Williams. They they don't need no left tackle. You know what I'm saying? He was like
yeah,
immediately took him out of the conversation for that because I know damn
yeah,
well Trent's the man over there. Anybody else they'd be looking to upgrade to me except for the 49ers because they got Trent. But and then he said, what team goes from have a Joe Staley forever and then he retires and they upgrade?
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Then they
Yeah,
upgrade. It's like
yeah,
one of the
man.
most toughest, most sought after positions in sports. And you go from a Joe Staley who was top five. You know what I mean? Top five, top three. You know what I mean? You could make a point case for top three. And
Depends
then
on yearly basis. Yeah,
yeah, and then
yeah,
then all of a sudden, bang, you get the best one.
yeah.
I thought that was great. But I wanted to touch on this. Heard Banks was a bust. I was probably talking about that. I might have said that. Heard Kyle was
You
stupid
see
for
how you
drafting a
are,
quarterback. I
and
I
that
didn't exactly, I don't think, say that he was stupid for drafting a quarterback. I didn't think Brock Purdy was Trey Lance ish. Or you know what I mean? Like I was like, why
mm,
this guy doesn't seem like he's like Trey. You know what I mean? Like he seems more of like a Jimmy to me. And I'm like,
yeah,
wouldn't you want a quarterback more like a Trey to back up Trey Lance? So if Trey goes down, you've got somebody who can do the same plays that you were drawing up for Trey instead of going to more, like essentially it's the arm. You're looking for somebody who's got an arm and can be a little bit, he can move around in the pocket. And Brock Purdy just didn't have the arm, and like it was that whole draft was, I was like, what? Especially like TDP in the third. I was like, what is going on here? When we got Edge, when we went Drake Jackson, I was like, well, I was hoping we would go. Who was I trying to get? Can't remember what I was trying to get, but I wasn't thinking D end. I was thinking right tackle probably. And we get that, and I'm like, well, whatever. That's he dropped down. That's value. Okay. Next to Bosa, the other end of Bosa. That's good. You know what I mean? If we get a value deal, I like those moves. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If you're gonna get somebody who's gonna pan out who just dropped all of a sudden, whatever, get them for cheap, especially when you got a first. You know what I mean? There's your first round pick right there.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna point, I mean, not we, but anybody who wants to point the finger at Kyle for stuff like that, first and foremost, I don't think Kyle has too much say so in later draft picks. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, even when it comes pertains to Brock Purdy, like I don't think Kyle Shanahan really had any clue who Brock Purdy even was. That's the scout team, John Lynch, the management, all that type of stuff. Um, Adam Peters, they were the guys that were delving deep into that type of stuff, and I think that's why they caught Brock Purdy, man. And to me, man, just draft for talent. They don't have to be the same guy. Like, really, I want guys to compete with Trey Lance as well, to where his skills are being sharpened as a pocket passer. I want him to be a quarterback first and show his athleticism off script. So, and that's something like what Brock Purdy does as well. So you can say they have similar talent from that aspect, especially since they both placed really high in the IQ test from a quarterback standpoint as well.
Oh, I just wanted to let Steve-O know. No, you're good, Steve-O. I just don't like those people who say something, jump on the bandwagon, say stuff, and then when they're found out to be wrong so much later, they go, "Oh,
I know nothing. I thought it was all good.
I didn't say that," or not. Whoops.
Flip floppers, you mean?
Yeah, that shit annoys me. Oops, I've been
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
been going this whole time with
I'm
my chair right up to the heater.
I'm really glad Brock Purdy panned out to what I thought he could be, man. If not, no, actually, you know what? I think he exceeded expectations.
Oh yeah.
That was something that I was looking forward to since preseason. I was like, man, dude, if this dude plays like this against starters in the NFL, we might have something on his hands. Like I remember the way the crowd was cheering in preseason when he's rolling out to the right and throwing darts to the corner of the end zone on the run, man. Like he was doing that stuff in preseason. It wasn't against starters, but I was like, lo and behold, if this dude does this against starters in the NFL, like if by some chance, he gets his shot to do that, and it really comes out that he does that against starters in the NFL, holy shit, that's going to be fun to watch. And sure
So
enough, what's
so
up?
I heard something. I don't know if it's true, but
Hmm.
somebody had heard about a rumor of one day at practice, a young Brock Purdy was, how do they put it? He was like working the defense. Like he wasn't necessarily giving them, I guess, the look that they were supposedly wanting from him. He was just finding ways to beat them, and they were getting pissed, and he was just kept on doing it. You know what I mean? Like, bring it on. Well, if you're mad, then stop me. You know what I mean? And to me, God, do I love that in a person. You know what I mean? It's in a practice atmosphere like that. That's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? If you're talking about real life doing some ornery stuff, that we go get down. You know what I'm saying? But in a practice aspect, I want to be challenged. Yeah, challenge me because I want to beat you. You know what I mean? That's one reason why I loved wrestling. It was one on one. It was me against you, and I had to be the better, or I lost. And it was just a challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, exposing all the leaks in the defense, showing them all their weaknesses. Even Trey Lance, man, the defense had to tell him like, "Hey, dude, get off your shit. Like, start testing us, man. You got to start doing this stuff and really, really putting it to us, man." Because he was playing like really conservative, I guess, or something. Trey Lance was against the scout team or against the defense
Yeah.
through the scout team. But yeah, man, Brock Purdy, that's badass. I mean, it. Lo and behold, he tests really high on that IQ, the quarterback IQ test, and then he's doing this stuff, kind of like a mathematician that finds different ways to solve a problem, right? It
Like
makes
the
sense
people
that he
that crack
tested.
the code, the Enigma code, the German code. You ever seen that thing?
Mm-mm.
Oh, bro, you got to look into that. Jesus. They had a machine where it was like they had 13 little dials on it. And you just so many dials and you click it to certain different alphabets and then you start clicking buttons. Well, if you don't know what the code is on that little thing, every little letter that you turn it totally changes. There's like trillions of different responses it could be.
Holy
It's
shit.
crazy. And they figured out how to break it. It's crazy.
I'm too impatient for that.
Oh, bro, it was some crazy stuff. We couldn't even get that advanced. Like we used what was it, the Wind Talkers? What tribe was that?
Navajo.
The Navajo. Was it the
Yeah.
Navajo?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Pumas.
No,
Never mind.
Navajo.
Navajo. But yeah, we used them. And it
The
was
main
like,
one
yeah.
was the main one. Yeah.
And it was like, to me, that's ingenious. It's a genius. It was like, man, what a way to like just take something off the shelf kind of and like it'd be like, well, you know what I'm saying? Not that it's like, not that it's like special or something like that. It's kind of essentially the language was dying. Like I know, like the reservation I grew up on with one of the guys I went to high school with, his grandma was like the last person to know like the language, and she was teaching him, and now he's taught his daughter, and now his children are teaching the rest of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's the way to
like
do it. Yeah.
it was one generation away from disappearing. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah,
is
man.
totally sad.
Yeah. Me and my lady, we're lucky to have our tribes are two of like the most widely spoken languages. And then one of my tribes is actually one of the least that is on the brink of collapse as well. So I have
I
two opposite sides of the spectrum.
I went
Trying,
to I always went to Yosemite when I was a kid, and there's
yeah,
there's a gift there's a gift place in there, and there's these statues of the Hopi Indians in their regalia, and I've always wanted one of those damn things. Like ever
Kachina
since,
dolls,
is that what they're called?
kachinas, yeah,
Yes, those things
yeah,
they've always like I've always just been drawn to them. You know what I mean? Like there's like
yeah,
we like every time we go, I go, Mom, can we go see the dolls? You know what I mean? Can we go see the things? And I would just,
yeah.
and he couldn't my mom made it so like if we went into stores, like my hands had to be in my pockets because I had ADHD and I was gonna touch everything. So
Mm.
I'm looking at all these expensive dolls, my hands in the pockets, the Kachina dolls, and I'm just like, oh man, oh man. And then and then knowing a little bit more about them, it kind of even makes more sense now with how I believe about other things, and it's crazy. Uh, yeah, shout out to the Hopis.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, have Hopi relatives. My little brother's adopted to Hopi too.
They made their cities in the they recreated the constellation of Orion. Like like what? Like what? And it's like perfect out in the middle of nowhere, and you could just go perfectly to the. That's crazy. There's some
Yeah,
things like man, our
yeah,
ancestors knew a lot more than us sometimes, I think we know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah,
but yeah.
we're
Um,
dumb as hell compared to them.
dude, at times. But we should talk a little bit backstage. I think we're good for the evening. I think we wrap it up.
Yeah,
Uh want to thank you for coming in, sir. Really appreciate you. Not letting me just flounder here all by myself. We
yeah,
almost went an hour and a half. Um, sad to hear you might be leaving. I want everybody
yeah. Sucks.
uh, you know, make sure you stop everything and see Wolf every time you can now, and make sure you hit him up on Twitter so you can still keep in contact with him. Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna stop and support everybody I can when I can. So
oh yeah,
yeah, guys, I'm
you'll
gonna
have to
still
let
be
us
here
know when you got
for
time
you
so we
guys.
can make
Don't be
special
afraid to bring
shows.
Brian Culp and David McNiner. Don't be afraid to bring them on, man.
Oh,
They
we got
got
a call-in show tomorrow night.
good stuff. No, I'm saying have shows with them. I
Oh
think
yeah,
Brian just started his show. I've heard. Like he didn't even tell me, fucker. Hey, what the hell?
yeah.
But I heard he had his first stream. I just heard about it. I have to go check it out. Um, yeah, man. You guys, everybody, all you guys should all collab, man. But I'm gonna try and hop on everybody's shows when I can. Appreciate you, having me on and everything. Being
Hey
patient
man,
with me.
you're good, bro. I was just hoping to get all your stuff, settled and get back to the show. I was like, that's why I was like, yeah, just stream it on your channel so you don't get so many views dropping off. You can at least there's something going every week, because
Yeah,
part of the homies. Let's go. But
yeah. We'll see what happens, man. Especially once the season starts. But it sounds like I'll be doing 16-hour days, 5 and 6 days a week, man. So I don't think I'll have time for really shit but
no, bro.
sleeping and eating. Um, but everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys, man. Really, thank you for real.
And with that,